Hey YouTube, it's GMB Hall here with Playing RPGs, and today we're talking about the Helm of Telepathy. The Helm of Telepathy is a pretty simple magic item to begin with. Basically, you could use the item within 90 feet of whatever your target is. You have to be able to focus concentration on that creature, which means to me that you have to be able to see that creature in order to use it. That's how we've been playing it. And once you are able to concentrate and focus, that creature's you're able to basically read its mind. And not only that, you're able to actually send thoughts into the other creature's mind if you'd like. So what's really interesting about this is it's not just human beings, it's you can understand what any creature is thinking at any given time when you're focusing on that creature. So I was both nervous and excited when the players found this magic item in the first dungeon, the Shrine Beneath the Lake, in the module In the Shadow of Tower Silveraxe. It's an item that really requires, I think, improvisation on the part of the GM, because you simply don't know when the player is going to activate the item and what a creature could possibly be thinking at that moment, and then try to render those thoughts to the players despite it might not even being human. So this, of course, was something that was going to stretch my capabilities, I think, as a GM. With any magical item, the first thing the players need to do is figure out what the thing does, and BX tells us that there are a couple of ways that players can figure this out. The first is they can just use it, sort of, kind of concentrate on it, you know, do it's a little ambiguous actually, and it's a little confusing for the characters, I think, to do that. Some, things are obvious, like a wand maybe, but maybe a helmet not so much. So the players actually opted to go for the second option, which was to take it to the local magic user Myria in the hub village of Karn Baldar, and for a fee of, I think, 200 gold pieces or something and a little bit of time, she agreed to try to identify what this thing actually did. Alright, so I have the tape all queued up to the scene where the players actually go and get this thing identified, and it was at that moment when they identified it and started to use it that I decided to put a little twist on this item, and I think it worked out really well. So let's see what happens.
Goes to the temple.
Yeah.
I say those of us with artifacts gather and go to the mage's person, to the mage to get them identified.
Yep, I agree with that. So Oma agrees, and she comes with her bracelet.
Jude says, Oma, today's temple day. We should pray.
and Oma says she will, but she wanted to take care of this first. But she
Jude
plans
says,
to be
Oma, I think you might be losing your way.
Yeah.
Gump is gonna come over to her and be like, "Look, we got things to take care of. She'll be along in a little bit."
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
I gotta give a shout out to Greg to using the calendar that I mentioned in another video on using that as a role-playing opportunity. And Jude and Oma are both clerics, so the idea that they're competing to see which one is most pious is that's great. It's great. Great moment.
Yeah, so Jude heads towards the temple, and she's holding her little sterling silver sun symbol and is already praying.
Yeah.
Are you going to like a jeweler, or are you going to the mage, Myria?
Ooh, good question.
I think we would go to Myria first to see if they're
if they're magical. Yeah.
Maria.
Yep.
Yeah. So you get there, and Maria is has her legs kicked up over the counter, and it looks like she's sleeping.
You guys went too early, huh?
Is it?
It looks like
Is there like
she's taking a little siesta.
is there like a little bell for service?
Well, as you walk in, a bell tinkles, and she kind of like blinks her eyes open, looks over at the door, and sees that it's you, and she's like, "Oh, it's you!
My hat, is it
You
ready?
lived. Your hat? Oh, why, yes, it was always ready. We just had to figure out what it was. Do you want to know what it is?
Absolutely, I do. My chef hat. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Helps to make the best burrito.
All right." She's like, "Okay, take a guess."
What the fuck?
And but don't tell me what it is. Don't tell me what it is.
Does it?
What is But what is Gump thinking? What does he think it is?
He thinks it helps you read people's minds.
And before you can even say it, she points at you and goes, "That's it!"
Is she
Wow.
wearing the
And
hat?
she takes it. Yeah, she's wearing it. She takes it off and hands it to you and says, "This is a helm of telepathy."
Oof.
Seems pretty useful.
It
Hell yeah!
very useful.
I can
Here,
read.
try it.
I can read people's minds. Is that what you're saying with the hat on?
Yeah, not only that, if you turn to page, and she's flipping through her rule book too. Page 244, the Helm of Telepathy has a 90-foot range, and if you concentrate, you can essentially read a character's thoughts. You can also communicate with other people. You can send thoughts
Whoa!
to somebody, although they don't have to respond to you.
Holy
So
cow.
that's pretty cool. And she says, "Watch out! Don't take a lot of hits because this thing is as you can see pretty delicate, and it can't take too much of a beating."
Gotcha.
I'm surprised you even made it back this far.
Interesting.
So she's
I described the helmet when they first found it as kind of almost made out of aluminum, a very tall cylindrical hat, similar to the picture that I used in the thumbnail of this video. And Galio actually calls it a chef hat and wanted me to create a new icon for him and a little token for the game. So when you see later in the game his token, it's actually a character wearing a chef hat. So I don't know, kind of interesting how these things add on to each other.
says, "Here, try it on for size." And she gives it to you, and she says, "All you have to do is concentrate and ask me a question. I'll think about it, and you can get the answer."
Got it. I'm not going to test it out right now. I trust you.
Are you sure you don't want to test it out?
Yeah, you're right. I'll test it out. And he concentrates on her to see what she's thinking.
Okay, so you're both like staring at each other, and as Gump stares at Myria and the concentration takes hold, his eyes go cross-eyed, and he starts grinning a little bit, as he like gets into her mind and actually starts, unfortunately, to drool. But he does get the answer, which is wait, what question did you ask her?
I didn't ask her a question.
Oh,
How much is? Let's see. What is a question I would ask her? I don't know. What about this amulet that I have here?
she thinks I have no idea. I have to look at it.
All right.
But yeah. So everybody is looking at Gump as this face like kind of forms. This cross-eyed look forms on his face. And as soon as you lose break concentration, your face goes back to normal.
Sweet.
So that's when we know he's using the hat. It's when he looks like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Maria kind of frowns and says, "Maybe you're not really smart enough to use it very well, and it just kind of has that effect on you when you concentrate fully."
I love it.
That's good. That's good.
So she goes, "Well, okay, well there you go." And you mentioned you asked about a necklace, and the rest of the group is like, "Huh?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, he asked me that in the help." Anyway, so she asks to look at the any jewelry that you have, if it's magical. You get a read on it.
So when I looked at Gump's character sheet, I noticed that he had a lower than average intelligence. I think it was like a 9, maybe not lower than average, but pretty low on that scale, kind of like Forrest Gump level of intelligence. And because of that, I thought that maybe it would be interesting if when he used it, it like contorted his face in a comical way. And it seemed to pay off. And in fact, when the players use it later on in their games, they have to kind of cover him or hide him so that people don't know that they're actually getting their mind read. If you want to watch the Plan, Prep, and Play episode on wilderness encounters, you'll actually notice Gump use it to determine what the berserkers are thinking, and that actually helps the group avoid what could have been a pretty devastating combat encounter. So, that's it. Just a fun little magic item that helps the players, that's fun to use. A little twist on it to make it even more enjoyable, add a little bit of challenge to using the item. I think that's important. That magic items do have maybe some kind of drawbacks, perhaps, for characters, depending on what their stats look like. And yeah, that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great game, and I'll see you next time. This is GM Beehall signing off.